Hello everybody. Well, we got our new electric bill. If you don't know and you haven't watched our other videos on this, we have been having a problem with our electricity here at the house. Our first bill was 13,850, something like that, pesos, with 950 kilowatt hours used. But we really don't use very much electricity. It was a cause for concern for us, and so we've been doing a lot of investigation. We had the power company come, which we showed in the last video, and inspect the meter. They claimed that everything turned out to be perfect. It's running great and it's installed correctly. I have requested a new meter and they said unfortunately they're far too busy. They won't be able to do that, at least in the short term. So I've been stuck here going, okay, what's going on? Let's try to figure this out. I have tried to find an electrician here locally. Not just any electrician though. I want one that actually has a meter that they can put on each line and see how much is being drawn from each line. Unfortunately, so far I haven't been able to find any yet that have those kind of meters. So what I was able to do is a friend of mine popped over and had one of their people make me a meter. So this just looks like a normal meter, but on the other side you have the plugins. You have the plugins like this, so you can plug it in. So you plug it into the wall and you plug whatever device into the power bar here and you measure it. You can do like an hour and just do the math and multiply it when it's at full capacity and running, and you can figure it out. So this has been very handy, at least in us being able to narrow down where the costs are coming. So we have just got our bill today. So today's the bill, meter reading day, and we now know how much the bill is going to be. We had our whole power shut off for 6 days of this month. We shut it off at the main disconnect, made sure it wasn't spinning, and we went to Manila. That includes our fridge and everything. We totally forgot about that, and we ended up having to throw everything out. But at least I now know that, okay, 6 days of the last, it's 31 days because December had 31 and it's 27th to the 27th. So 31 days, 6 of them there was no electricity usage. So everything I have is based on 25 days. The bill still came in at almost 7,000 pesos, 6,917 pesos, which is 489 kilowatt hours. Keep in mind, previous bill, we were running our air conditioning as we pleased. So we thought, okay, it must be the air conditioning. Yeah, well, this month has been fantastic. And our air conditioning unit here, we haven't used it once, not one time for the entire month. So this will be an unknown. It's also not a plug-in, so we can't test it, but that's one of the unknowns that remain. This is also not a plug-in. This is our water pump. And we thought maybe this was an issue as well because we had to run it a lot of time, many times because we had water issues. But no. So we only have to run this every several days, maybe once, and that's it. And it doesn't run very long. Then we get to shut it off, and that's it. And so that if it was this, our bill should have dropped dramatically. And so for now, I'm going to say this is less of an unknown. So let's go over all the items we have in the house that are plugged in and how much electricity they used over the last 25 days. Like I said, 6 of them we weren't here and the power was off. Our fridge uses 1.5 kilowatt hours per day, so 24-hour period. It is quite a large fridge, but that works out to 37.5 kilowatt hours for those 25 days. The 2 air conditioning units that we have in the windows, they use 0.75 of a kilowatt hour per hour. Now we only used it, Bianca used it for a few times during streaming when she just didn't want to have the windows open with the noise and that kind of thing and wanted a cooler. And so she might have used it, and I'm really being liberal here on this number, 10 hours in the whole month. So that is 7.5 kilowatt hours for the month, just for the 2 window air conditioning units, since I didn't use mine. My computer is a really high-end computer. It's got a high-end graphics card, that kind of thing. And so they generally use a lot more electricity. And I have a huge, like, wide monitor, and it uses 0.11 kilowatts per hour, or kilowatt hours per hour. So we're just gonna approximate how many hours I would have used it in that 25 days, and say that even if I used it 10 hours a day, which I don't, but let's just say, because again, being liberal in the numbers, that's 25 kilowatt hours. Where Bianca's computer, hers is an actual computer, like a PC unit with a graphics card, all that stuff, plus she has dual monitors. She does a lot of streaming and broadcasting, loves the LED lights and everything that run off of it, and all kinds of stuff going on with hers. And so hers actually uses 0.2 kilowatt hours per hour. She streams pretty regularly and is on it quite often, and often forgets to turn it off. So we'll say she used 35 kilowatt hours in that 25 days. Our hot plate, well, the hot plate really uses quite a bit of electricity. It's 0.05 kilowatt hours per 3 minutes. So we don't do a lot of cooking here, but think about it, if you were to run that thing for 20 minutes, that is going to put you at like a 0.3 of a kilowatt hours in order to use it. So we only probably cooked 3 or 4 times the whole month. And it's the same for the air fryer, by the way. So I just said, okay, we probably only cooked 3 or 4 times, and maybe once over there, twice over there, that kind of thing. But again, being liberal with everything, I said, okay, 10 kilowatt hours for the 25 days. The kettle is another thing that uses quite a bit of electricity. For every single time that we boil water, it uses 0.05 kilowatt hours. So you literally can watch the dial move, and it boils it in, what, 30 seconds, something like that. So you do use a kettle quite a bit. So we said, okay, 4.5 kilowatt hours for the month is just the kettle alone. And then I thought I would throw in 5 extra kilowatt hours for cooking, just in case I'm making a mistake on something. Maybe we cook more than one time, that kind of thing, 5 more times. Maybe we cook something that took an hour, I don't know. But I figured, you know what, I'm trying to figure this out. Let's be safe, and I put that in. So all of that, though, only totaled 118 kilowatt hours. We have several ceiling fans in the house and 3 floor fans. Don't really use a lot of electricity. I plugged it into it, but I would have to literally run it forever to make the dial move. So after a few hours, I just said, okay, they literally don't draw enough that really matter. All the lighting in the house. Now, right now I have the lights on, but normally I wouldn't have all these lights on. I'm only recording right now. Otherwise, we keep them off. Might use one here and there. That's about it. Studio lights and stuff like that, sure, we use those sometimes, but again, very infrequent this month, especially because we didn't do any live broadcasts. The air conditioning unit that we talked about, that is an unknown, but guess what? We didn't use it at all this month, so therefore not relevant in this calculation of trying to figure out where the remaining 371 kilowatt hours is. So all we have left is this water heater. This water heater was installed the day we moved in. It's kind of been on my radar because we try to think what's different between us and the previous tenant that was in here, who only had 2,000 to 3,000 peso bills every month. And that was, well, I had this shower installed within 3 days of being in the house. And that set off some alarm bells. So the guys who put this water heater in, they wired it in. I have no idea where they got the electricity. I did not see them in the ceiling. I don't even know where it doesn't make any sense to me. One minute there was no electricity, next minute it was wired in. If, I'm not an electrician here, but if it was wired improperly, maybe there's a short and it's just burning up electricity all the time. The light is off, so when it's not being used, and we don't really use it that often, so you know, obviously once a day type thing, but pretty short showers because there's very little water pressure. And yeah, so therefore it's not a enjoyable type of shower, but still, sure, we use it, but it's not making any sense, and it's actually kind of flashing a red signal to me that maybe this is where our issue is. But I need to get somebody who can put a meter on that thing and see how much it's drawing. And so is somebody stealing our electricity? I really have no clue. What is it, buried somewhere? I don't know. I don't think so. The electrical line, you know, does run down through this column here after the meter and runs all the way down this wall to the dirty kitchen, kind of goes around in order to, I don't know, give electricity to different lights that we have and stuff like that. Pie in the sky stuff. I really don't think anybody is actually tapping into it, because I really don't know where it could be. If they are correct and that meter is all properly wired up and it's supposed to be connected to the other meter and all that good stuff. Hand to God, they said. Hand to God, they swear. Got it in writing from them too. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the meter. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know what's going on here, and so the mystery continues. If you are in the Iloilo area and you know of an electrician that actually has the proper meters, yeah, please reach out, put in the comments, that kind of thing. Could use your help. But that's where we're at. It's not wonderful. You know, obviously I'm happy that the bill is half the price of last month, but I was expecting it to be incredibly less, because we have no air conditioning running other than those 10 hours on the one window one that we've already had calculated out. So it doesn't make any sense. But that's where we're at. I don't know what to say other than that, but hey, you guys helped us out a lot in the comments last time, so I'm hoping you'll help us out again in the comments, and hopefully we can get to the solution here and trying to figure this whole thing out. I would love to get this line tested, and I would like to get the water heater line tested in order to figure out which one's the culprit here, what's costing us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilowatt hours every single month. And yeah.
That was so cool. It was the first performance, and I'm already blown away. Wow!
Now.
Amazing. Please help. Send help.